Hello and welcome to my fighting game primer. Now this was made for Chopsky because he's actually been challenged for a Street Fighter sort of event thing coming up. So if you're like him and probably haven't played fighting games since the days of Super Nintendo and the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis, depending where you are in the world, this will help you get up to speed with the basics of the game and allow you to compete on a level higher than your friends. So you can be that person to never give up the controller. Right, so let's get started with your controller of choice. Now, myself personally, I play on a fighting stick. I play on an arcade stick. Now, you do not need an arcade stick to be good at the game. An arcade stick does not raise your skill level. Play with whatever is most comfortable for you. Now, with a fighting stick, these are your options. First, grip. Most people hold it like this or this. You can also do what's called a wine glass style, depending on different fingers. I generally hold it with 2 fingers wrapped around like this. I feel this gives me the most sort of motion. Before we start anything, we need to set up our controls. So, light punch is generally the first button. Oop, that just goes auto. So, let's go light punch, medium punch, heavy punch. Oh, hello. 2 buttons there. So, light punch, medium punch, heavy punch, light kick, medium kick, heavy kick, left, right, up, down, start. I can't use... Wow, alright, you can't actually map the side buttons. Training playback. Alright, sweet. Our controls are mapped and we're good to go. Now, we're going to go into training mode. Now, Chopsky, because I don't know what version you're playing, we're going to start with Street Fighter 2 and we'll go through some things. The character I recommend you start with is Ryu. Ryu is the same throughout all the versions nearly. So he's a very good choice to learn the game. And alright, let's go over some things. Okay, so the first thing we see in the match, 2 health bars at the top. As you take damage, health goes down. Pretty simple. Once it gets 0, you're dead. Obviously, shouldn't really need to explain that. The other thing is there is a stun gauge which is hidden. After you take a lot of attacks in a row, the character will be in a state of stun and dizzy. You can't do anything. You need to shake the stick rapidly to break out of stun, which lets your opponent do a lot of damage. Think of fighting games like chess, where you can move in 8 directions, up, down, left, right, and then the diagonals. And then your moves are like your chess pieces. In the fact, no matter where you are on the board and what you're doing, there's always a reaction. So the first thing we're going to learn in fighting games is your normal moves. These are the basics of your character and what you need to know for success. Every character has a light punch, medium punch, a heavy punch. Light kick, medium kick, heavy kick. Now these have different properties. Study how they move, how each one's different. In Street Fighter 2, they're not that different. But for example, the crouching punches, heavy punch, crouching, is quite different to the first 2. Now, if an opponent's jumping in on me, I can hit them with that pretty good. That's a really good button. When you crouch and use your heavy kick, that's a sweep. This puts your opponent in what's called a hard knockdown. So they knock down and then get up. So familiarize yourself with these to start with. These are what you're going to do. Basic idea of the neutral of this game and what neutral means is the characters currently are standing at neutral stance. So as we move closer, we want to go on the offensive. We want to get in there and do damage to our opponent. Doing this is commonly walking back and forward. So as your opponent's walking towards you, you're also walking towards them and back and forward, trying to poke them out. So at this distance, you know, like poke. So if they're walking towards me and I poke them, you know, I get a chance for damage. That's how you use a lot of normals. Some normals also combo, not so much in this game, but more in other games. Let's move on to the other tools we have in Ryu's arsenal, the special moves. Ryu's main tool is his Hadouken, or Fireball, which is... Let's turn on the camera here. We can get some... Alright. Now, a fireball motion is a quarter circle and then a punch. Now, depending on what button you press, you will get a different action for this. So, light punch is a slow-moving fireball. Medium punch moves quicker. And then heavy punch moves the quickest. Ryu's second move is the Tatsumaki, or Hurricane Kick, which is a backwards quarter circle motion, and then a kick. Ryu goes spinning across the screen. Further, he goes depending on the button you press. So heavy goes the furthest distance. The last move in Ryu's arsenal is probably one of his best tools, the Shoryuken, or commonly referred to as a DP, Dragon Punch. This motion is a Z. Now, this can be quite difficult for newcomers, so I recommend practicing this. You also don't need to do a Z. The way I do it is I push my stick forward, then I let it reset to neutral, and then I do a quarter circle. So it's as you can see, it's a bit tricky. But if you do the full Z motion, you'll always get it. Just keep practicing until you feel comfortable. So basically, the stick goes back, forward, down, then right. So back, forward, down, right, and you get a Shoryuken. Very powerful move. Can be quite hard to pull off. You'll get used to it in time. Just practice it. Once you can do it 10 times in a row without failing, you're ready. You're ready for that. Alright, let's go over Ryu's basic gameplay. Now, from full screen to about mid-screen here, that's your perfect range to throw out fireballs. The recovery on fireball is quite long, as you can see. I'm still in the fireball animation quite a long time after throwing it. So if someone's jumping towards you from this, they jump your fireball, they will hit you and punish you. So what we want to do is throw them from a range where they can't punish us. And if they jump it, then if they jump over our fireball and we've recovered in time, we can hit them with an anti-air. There's many moves you can use for anti-airs, especially in Street Fighter 2. This is by far one of Ryu's best anti-airs, though. The best advice I can give you for playing this game is don't press buttons needlessly. Don't try to mash. Play patiently. Play reactionary. Also, if you get the health lead, so if you've taken half their health bar down and you've got their health, there's no reason for you to be on the offensive. Stay defensive. Defensive can be a great option. It gives you so much more into the game. Alright, so they're the basics of the game. Let's change to a different game. So, depending which game you're going to play, there's a few differences. So, Super Turbo introduced the super moves. So, as we do moves, hit your opponent, and take damage, that meter at the bottom fills up. For the sake of this, we will turn this to infinite. Once your meter is full, you get what's called a super move. Now, Ryu's super move is the fireball motion, but twice. So you do quarter circle twice, and then a punch, and he throws out a very powerful super move. That's the main difference in Super Turbo. Moving on to the Alpha series. When you select your character, you get 3 options. You get Xism, Aism, and Vism. Xism gives you 1 bar of super, but it's very strong. Aism gives you 3 bars, and you can change it depending on what you want. So you can do a level 1 super, you can do a level 2 super, you can do a level 3 super. So you can do 3 level 1 supers if you want. So depending on the button you press, you will get different levels of super. As you can see, as the Street Fighter as the generations change, not much has changed. The difference is later games have more flexible combos. So your mid kick is going to be your go-to button. You can combo this into fireballs. You can combo this into tatsumakis. So in this version of Street Fighter, everything is a lot more comboable. Street Fighter 2 was never meant to have combos. So again, the super move. If you're ever unsure of your moves, great thing about new Street Fighter games, not playing in arcade, is you can look up the special moves. They're all in the game. There you go. The super moves are down the bottom. And the last game you're going to play is Third Strike. Now, Third Strike is completely different. We don't want to be Alex. One of the most beautiful animated fighting games out. Third Strike is very different. As you can see, it's still the same basic premise. The difference is, in Third Strike, you've got something called a parry. So, I don't recommend probably not doing these things, because they're rather hard to learn. The general gist of a parry is you press forward at the moment something hits you. So for example, let's get Akuma to throw some fireballs at us. Alright, timing's a bit off for me, there we go. So you tap forward as projectile or punch hits you. Text it and allows you to attack. So if he's coming in and attacking me and I parry and then I attack, I can get some nice little damage. So that is your basic gameplay. Let's go into arcade mode. So I can sort of show you fluidly what it is. Alright, let's use Alpha 3. Alpha 3 is my favorite. Alright, choose Ryu. I prefer Aism. I feel it just gives you a lot more utility. Alright, so how we're going to play this is basically pokes. We're going to... So I play a very reactionary style. Anti-air, as they're jumping in. See, if jumping is one of your worst friends in this game, jumps are not your friend. Stay grounded as much as possible, because you are very weak in the air. Alpha 3, also has another mechanic I didn't explain that has a guard bar. If you guard attacks, your guard bar goes down slowly. And once it hits 0, your guard breaks and you can't block anymore for a few seconds. So Mika's a very heavy pressure character, so she's see my guard break's about to break. That's a bad time. You don't want that to happen. See, this is Vism, which is a custom combo engine. Not for beginners in the slightest. It's a bit hard to show you with a computer, because a computer's a bit of a spaz nut. It's not a great training method. It will train you to be more reactionary, that's for sure. But a computer doesn't play like a player. So you're only going to get so much mileage out of this. So Tatsumaki can go through fireballs as well. In this version. In the earlier versions, it doesn't. So if I stand at full screen and throw fireballs, it makes it very hard for Chun-Li to get in. Especially as a computer, like fireballs just confuse them. See, they jumped there, that would have been a punish if that was an actual player. You can also, in this version of Street Fighter, you can block in the air, which is you can't in other versions. Alright, so that has been my basic guide to Street Fighter. They're the ins and outs. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to training mode. I want you to select your character. I want you to pick Ryu. I want you to pick Aism. Doesn't matter who your opponent is. And I want you to practice these things. I want you to practice fireballs. Now, with Fireball, if you do a full circular motion, instead of a half circle motion, you get a red Fireball, which is a bit more powerful. So, instead of just doing a half motion, we do a full motion. A full circle. Full half circle, instead of a quarter circle. This gives us a Fireball that hits multiple times, is a bit more powerful. The other thing I want you to learn is your supers. So, quarter circle twice, punch, quarter circle back, kicks, and then your last one is quarter circle forward and then kicks, but you need all three super bars for this. For combo training, Ryu's most basic combos all come from his crouch medium kick. So crouch medium kicks to fireballs, crouch medium kick to Tatsu, they're your basic tools. Once you've learnt these, you're gonna be gold. Now you just have to play your opponent. I hope this has helped you. If you have any questions, please feel free. Ask me, I'll make a follow-up video. I'll do anything you need to help you with this game more. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you found this helpful. Cheers. See you next time.